So I was wondering, if I put my 1,000 ants into obstacle courses, will they do similar things to complete them, or are my ants just not that smart? Well, I just spent hours gathering 1,000 ants out my old ant nest, so I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to put these guys up against their first ant obstacle. Obstacle number 1 is this thing. Basically, what we do is put some massive dead insect food at the bottom, and then we fill it with a bunch of sand to turn it into one of those 2D ant nests. Basically, we'll be able to watch the ants dig out all sorts of tunnel systems in here, and if they actually find the insect food I hit at the bottom, then they'll pass the obstacle and move on to the next obstacles that get harder and harder as the video goes on. Alright, let's not waste any time, and well, let's just do this. Wow, that is very satisfying watching 1,000 ants fall in here. Okay, now of course immediately the ants all just start to try and climb the walls of the top area to try and escape. But surprisingly, many of the ants were already starting to dig down that center 2D part of the nest. Oh my gosh, this is happening so fast. Wait, is there already progress on the side of the tank? Oh, I just put these guys in literally like 45 seconds ago, and they've already dug like half an inch down in. What? Yep, and if you check, I've seen videos of ants doing insane things to survive, like in this one where they built a boat out of their bodies to survive a flood, or in this one where they built a dangling bridge out of their bodies to attack a wasp nest. So I was wondering, if I put my 1,000 ants into obstacle courses, will they do similar things to complete them, or are my ants just not that smart? Well, I just spent hours gathering 1,000 ants out my old ant nest, so I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to put these guys up against their first ant obstacle. Obstacle number 1 is this thing. Basically, what we do is put some massive dead insect food at the bottom, and then we fill it with a bunch of sand to turn it into one of those 2D ant nests. Basically, I've seen videos of ants doing insane things to survive, like in this one where they built a boat out of their bodies to survive a flood, or in this one where they built a dangling bridge out of their bodies to attack a wasp nest. So I was wondering, if I put my 1,000 ants into obstacle courses, will they do similar things to complete them, or are my ants just not that smart? Well, I just spent hours gathering 1,000 ants out my old ant nest, so I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to put these guys up against their first ant obstacle. Obstacle number 1 is this thing. Basically, what we do is put some massive dead insect food at the bottom, and then we fill it with a bunch of sand to turn it into one of those 2D ant nests. Basically, we'll be able to watch the ants dig out all sorts of tunnel systems in here, and if they actually find the insect food I hit at the bottom, then they'll pass the obstacle. And move on to the next obstacles that get harder and harder as the video in here. Okay, now of course immediately the ants all just start to try and climb the walls of the top area to try and escape. But surprisingly, many of the ants were already starting to dig down that center 2D part of the nest. Oh my gosh, this is happening so fast. Wait, is there already progress on the side of the tank? Oh, I just put these guys in literally like 45 seconds ago, and they've already dug like half an inch down in. What? Yep, and if you check out this time-lapse footage, you can see just how quickly they were getting work done. They literally work like mini drills to dig these tiny tunnels through the sand. But in reality, it's a tiring and grueling process where each individual grain of sand has to be picked up from a worker underground, brought all the way up to the surface through this little hole, and then dropped off at this pile of sand over here. Now, while I was recording this, it was actually getting pretty late in the day, so I decided to turn off the lights and came back the next day to see the progress made. And guys, the next day I came back to the ant nest looking like this. Yeah. Bro, what? It's been literally like 8 hours. How did these ants build an entire intricate nest? And not only were all these intricate tunnel systems made, but remember those dead insects I placed at the bottom as food? Well, it's safe to say that ants found those too, and it looks like the whole colony had swarmed them and had already started to devour them. And since they got to the insects, that technically means they passed this first obstacle. Congratulations, guys. It happened so fast, I literally didn't even capture that on camera. Oh, but this next obstacle the ants are going up against will definitely be caught on camera, because the next obstacle is the tightrope of doom. Yes, you heard that right. And if you're wondering what that is, well, it's this thing. Yup, the ants will have to walk across this extremely narrow tightrope over a pit filled with fire and flames. Oh, I gotta put that out. Oh, yep, put that out. Oh, are you gonna go out? No, I'm just kidding. That would be crazy. These are literally my pets. I would never do that. But I will be trapping the ants down here if they fall by lining the walls of this pit with this super slippery liquid stuff called fluon. I know you can't really see this stuff since it's invisible, but basically when an ant tries to walk up on here now, it'll just slip off completely. Yeah, this stuff is super slippery. And you guys are about to see why this challenge gets so interesting in a second. But if you look over at the 2D ant nest, you'll actually see I have a little hole here plugged up with some paper towels. And if you also look here, I got some tubing, meaning I can connect this to the obstacle. So yeah, let's just get this obstacle started. Come on, ants, let's get in here. Immediately after plugging in the tubing, obviously ants noticed and started walking in. I mean, there's 1,000 ants. You can't even get away from them for a second. So that's what makes these obstacles fun, because it only took like 10 seconds till our first ant entered the tightrope of doom tank. Now, to pass this obstacle, the ants quite literally just need to get one of these pieces of insect legs back across the tightrope, which I think might be impossible, but let's see how they do. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the ants started off with some pretty lackluster performance, because our first ants that made it to this tightrope didn't actually walk onto it. They kind of just walked around it on the corner of this platform, where they just ended up just slipping off. Yeah, come on, guys. What are you doing? But we got 1,000 ants, so I was expecting at least one of these ants to eventually step onto this tightrope. But as tons more ants started to walk into this room, yeah, they kind of all just did the same exact thing. And the pit started to get absolutely filled up with tons of ants. Come on, ants, what are you doing? No, I'm just kidding. I think this is actually my fault, and to make them walk across the tightrope, I just gotta fix something. Let me show you how to fix it. Basically, what I did was, first of all, tape 2 extra pieces of string to the tightrope to make it a bit thicker so the ants would feel safer when they walked on it. And also, I rubbed this insect jelly food on the tightrope to make the bridge smell like jelly. And yeah, hopefully this will make them want to walk on it. Now, this worked exactly how I wanted it to, because within the first minute, our first workers actually started to walk onto the tightrope and explored it, just very slowly. But over time, more and more ants started to walk onto it, and it was actually kind of funny, because sometimes the ants would literally just be hanging from each other's legs, because there would just be way too many on the tightrope at the same time. Dang, these ants aren't very good at saving their friends. But it didn't take long for our first brave ant to actually make it to the end of this tightrope. That wasn't even half of the challenge, because now, if you remember, the ants actually got to pick up one of these insect legs and bring them back across the tightrope. And this ant clearly wasn't looking too interested in that, because yeah, he was just completely ignoring them. So I kept waiting until some more ants made it to the side by crossing the tightrope. And surprisingly, one of the ants that made it actually did seem interested in the legs, because he went up to one of them and actually started to bite it. But if you couldn't tell, this leg is kind of way too big for this worker to carry it all by himself, and for some reason, even after tons of ants made it onto this side, none of them came to help this poor worker move the leg. But this worker had a mission. He knew he needed to take a leg back to the colony, so what he did was he went up to one of the smaller insect legs that he could actually carry by himself, and he actually picked it up and started to walk. Yep, yeah, it wasn't super efficient or anything, but theoretically, he could pass this obstacle for the entire colony if he played his cards right. To the tightrope, and he might have had an extremely close call where he almost fell off, but somehow he managed to save himself, and then the ant actually started to walk across the tightrope with an insect leg in his mouth. Oh my gosh, guys, this is genuinely so insane. I am rooting for you, bro. I mean, you got a long way to go, but guys, the ants were doing so awful up to on marching, completely ignoring any ants that were in his way. And this dude made it all the way to the end of the tightrope, where he then walked onto the platform to complete the obstacle. Oh my gosh, this ant is insane. Seriously, I gotta name this guy. I think I'm gonna name him Anthony. And we're probably never gonna be able to find Anthony again, since all the ants look the same. But seriously, everyone spam some W's in the comments. Anthony is now ready. Yeah, like alt. For this obstacle, I literally built it's pretty good. Fill this seeds in here, because yeah, apparently are shut, because I gotta make here. Oh yeah, is complete. The seeds out. Very interesting to watch. So yeah, I just put it in, and as you can imagine, the 1,000 ant colony immediately started to climb onto it. Especially when things are put into colonies' nests, they need to investigate it immediately. Climb out of the even think the ants knew that there were seeds inside of here. So nothing really eventful happened, to be honest. Okay, this is not exactly going to plan. I'm just gonna take this box and put it in there. Oh, hopefully I didn't crush any ants. Okay, and then let me scoop up all the ants that fell off. So yeah, I got all of those fallen soldiers back into the nest, of course. Well, that didn't exactly work so well, but I kind of knew it wasn't gonna work so well, so that's why I came equipped with this stuff. See, basically, it's a cup of water and a big cup of sugar, which I'm gonna pour into the water. Then basically, I can mix the water and sugar around to make sugar water, which ants love the smell and taste of. And using this paintbrush, I actually just want to go and paint our vault with it. And basically, this will make the vault not only taste like sugar, but it will also just make it kind of soggy since it's made out of paper, and it should make it able so the ants can chew through it and stuff and get to the seeds. So yeah, I absolutely just soaked this vault in the sugar water, and without wasting any time, I got this thing in the nest. All right, ants, let's see how you do this time. And oh boy, were things a lot more interesting this time around, because right away, tons more ants were way more interested. You can see how after the ants would walk onto the vault, they would just completely stand still. That's because they were putting their mouth up to the paper and were just completely licking all the sugar off the paper. Completely true. How single ant this moment. When you see this hole here, we'll get to this bar. I guess maybe the sogginess from the sugar water made it droop or something. But wow, that is great. The excess ants off. Sure, ants absolutely had made it inside for them. Same ant. But anyways, W been rewarded with the out house. You may be wondering, extremely sticky obstacle he crosses individually pick. Anyways, I wish to see if they actually he was able to do it, and wow. Well, this ant just technically passed the obstacle. Oh my gosh, bro. I didn't even see.
从超人开始。
我可以把那个道具留在身上是有用是吗？屁啊！怎么可能踢这么远啊？本用性中廢啊！看看是怎么样吧。感觉第一关看起来最难。 起飞。这里是那3个道具是哪里拿的？有点太多。因为我比较重，所以得救。为什么这看起来涩涩的？老部位。
这是大场面。
戦闘態勢に入れ。容赦はいらない。
うせな。
ナイフ射出。
那个没关系啊，那个又不是你的错，因为那个正常观众，我反而感谢你抖50分啊。
龟仙人时期开始的，
啊、
什么是龟仙人时期？
因为这个东西你们大家也都不知道啊，就这个不能怪你们啊。
对，那时候真的太沉迷，太爱，没办法。
没有，我能理解那种想法，就是你想要自己喜欢的。
A little bit of spice from it, and also give Korean fried rice that beautiful red color.
不做事啊！
检查条。
那个检查神经反射的锤子在哪里？
锤子在桌上，在桌上，它旁边有个桌子。
检查板条箱怎么做？
上去拍，它有一个红色的箱子，然后你要上去拍它的面板，把它拍成正的。
那些吊起来的那些板，那是箱子啊。吊起来的，
对。
经典重击，大家离远一点。
我觉得不在乎也是可以啦。我确实是有些人真的不在乎啊，他觉得说啊，反正你能带给我快乐，你要跟几个人交往 ，I don't fucking care， 你劈腿、出轨、外遇都可以，你可以不在乎啊，但你也可以不用在乎别人怎么说他，不是吗？既然你都不在乎的话，那别人说他怎么样，你也可以不在乎啊。会在乎才是人之常情吧？怎么可能不在乎？
They could do without Senate Democrats who are demanding reforms to immigration enforcement. The Senate could vote on the deal as early as today. The House is in recess until April 13th. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
DNA testing has linked another murder, this one in Utah, to serial killer Ted Bundy. CBS's Matt Gutman.
One of his victims was Laura Ann Amy. She disappeared in '74 after a Halloween party. About a month later, the 17-year-old's bound and beaten body was discovered on the side of a highway. Investigators have long suspected Bundy was...
我怎么变肥仔了？我学会忍术了。看不懂，谁可以解释一下剧情？还有一个结。
灵魂的歇脚处，那《异国日记》绝对是你的首选。哎，如果你想
人的，你知道吗？我是比较一视同仁的类型。就我知道会有比较特别对待的，就是可能你都非常多，对不对？然后可能可以什么加 line 啊，然后聊聊天啊什么之类的，就是这种潜规则也是有的嘛，对吧？
对啊。
那我应该是比较偏向一视同仁的啦，所以我会跟大家讲说，就是你就是支持我会觉得很开心，那对不对？那我也尽量带给大家开心的内容，对不对？那让大家开心的内容，但是就是确实不太会，我会记得啦，但是我一定会记得，一定会感激啊，但是就是不会有这种什么加 line 的服务什么之类的。
加赖太夸张了，
所以基本上你是希望说，你可以通过抖内来获得一种比较在他心目中至少是记得你，然后给你一种比较特殊的地位这样的感觉吗？
对啊，我会啦，我个人会。
峰哥，你可以关注我，不要关注我的抖内一直调小吗？
而且你要是看，很危险啊！我的赖群是死群 ，DC 也差不多是死群了。哎，有没有人要进我 DC 帮我聊一下天之类的？
因为这个是他提供的相应的服务，因为他
说相近没有用 DC 之类的吗？
那他当然，
我观众是都不用 DC 的嘛。
那从消费者权益来上，就是
没有人想跟我聊聊的，
他就要提供给你们相应的这个
没有话都可以讲，
服务上的东西。
DC 在置顶啊，
确实是可以算作他的问题啊。
又没聊天，不是啊？
应该算是有吧，那后面有点
没聊，大家也可以自己聊啊。
好了。
哎，靠呗。OK， 第一关最难。打球啊！
我还没有跟妹妹赴约，妹妹要跟我讲什么啊？这游戏告诉了我们，只要每天花5分钟就可以做很多运动。什么东西啊？为什么提前啊？靠背啊，傻小啊！啊！变成卡兹。妹妹来了。
你们自己不在的啊？哎，为什么新的组合包我没发现？好可爱哦，这是什么东西啊？好可爱哦！里面有一堆小熊软糖哎。
What is Area 51 actually used for? Well, I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you. No, just kidding. I'm astrobiologist David Grinspoon from NASA. Let's answer your questions from the internet. This is Alien Support. Disgruntled hermit. asks, what's the most interesting exoplanet you've read about? If I had to pick a favorite that we found so far, it would be the planets in the TRAPPIST-1 system. There are 7 planets in the system that we've identified so far, and probably about 3 of them are potentially habitable. And by the way, the TRAPPIST system is only 40 light years away, which if you consider that our galaxy is 100,000 light years across, that's relatively close. I have a sort of chart here, and you can see the habitable zone of the TRAPPIST system with several potential planets in it, compared to the habitable zone of our solar system on the bottom, which has Earth and then, sort of possibly Venus and Mars on the edges of habitability. And by the way, the TRAPPIST system here, it's a cooler star than our sun. It's a red dwarf, and so the planets are clustered very close. But imagine what it would be like for life evolving on a system with multiple habitable planets nearby one another. Meteorites occasionally get blasted off of one planet and land on another. We have pieces of Mars here on Earth. So if you have a habitable planet with life and another planet that could be habitable, you could imagine life spreading easily. Jabalanki asks, are aliens real? Well, my thought is that aliens are real. There are probably something like 30 billion habitable planets in our own galaxy. And so even if a small fraction of those have an origin of life, there's lots of life in our galaxy. And the more we study Earth and its origins, we haven't found anything that's sort of magical or so special about Earth that those things shouldn't be happening elsewhere. So if you're asking me, do I think aliens are real? Yes. If you're asking me, do I know scientifically? I'll say, not yet, but we're on the road to find out. Here's a question from Quora. How accurate is Arrival scientifically? I really like the movie Arrival. I'm watching this scene here with this astrobiologist lost in wonder and awe and a little bit of terror encountering this alien. We talk about convergent evolution, that evolution on other worlds would find some of the same solutions. So the idea that they have something that's like fingers for grasping, that makes sense. The idea that they would have this kind of symmetry, just like we have bilateral symmetry, they look vaguely squid-like, vaguely octopi-like. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw complex aliens if they looked somewhat familiar, but not exactly like any organism we had seen before, because again, they'll be responding to the same overall kinds of evolutionary forces. And then you have the other factor where she's trying to communicate, and this alien is doing this weird kind of circular writing, and it turns out that they are trying to communicate with us, and they're as equally puzzled by us. That makes sense, because I think there's this whole idea, something called incommensurability, that it might really be hard to communicate because they might have very different kinds of cognition, very different notions of reality and time. So I find this alien very convincing. Utopia Circle asks, how exoplanets are discovered. You can't directly observe the planet because they're too dim and too far away, but you can notice what the planet is doing to the star. So as a planet orbits a star, because of the gravitational pull of that planet, the star actually wobbles a little bit. So that star is wobbling because there's a planet around it, even though you can't see the planet. So some of the time, the star is coming towards your telescope, and some of the time the star is coming away from your telescope. We call that a Doppler shift. When it's coming towards you, the frequency shifts to a higher frequency. Blue, when it's coming away from you, it shifts to a lower frequency, red. And so our instruments got good enough to detect that slight change, that rhythmic change from blue to red to blue to red. It's a very, very tiny shift in wavelength. And that was the first sign. And then later on, there was a new technique. That's called the transit method. When a planet passes directly, are there good scientific explanations for UFO sightings, such as the USS Nimitz encounters in 2004? There are some intriguing reports, and the USS Nimitz one is rather strange. You know, the ocean boiling, some object that didn't look like a human-made object seeming to fly at great speeds and so forth. I don't know how to explain it, but the bottom line is we see no reason to think this has anything to do with astrobiology or any kind of extraterrestrial technology. One of the videos that was recently popularized was taken by pilots. If you look at that video, it does look like something's moving sort of unnaturally fast, but it turns out if you analyze information we do have, a lot of that can be explained by parallax. That is, the motion of the camera can make something look like it's moving much. What is Area 51 actually used for? Well, I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you. No, just kidding. Area 51 is a place where experimental military aircraft are tested. This is common knowledge, and that's all I know, and I've seen no evidence that it's anything else. Rinse the plates first asks,
地元の周南市産で、そのはえ縄で取った天然のトラフグです。これはね、1.67、2キロ前後が一番扱いやすいですね。繊維の質が一番刺身にして食べやすい、美味しいですね。それで、これ、ね、くちばしが危ないんで先に取るんですよね。白子がいいのがいいサイズ。エラですね、これ。食べれないところと食べれる可食部ですね、分けてます。今日は魚屋さんで働きながらフグをたくさん触らせてもらってで勉強しましたので、もう10匹20匹とかさばいたりしてましたけどね、もっともっとさばいたかもしれないですね。楽しかったですね。今でも楽しいとは思ってますけどね、仕事がね。毒の部分が隠れてるんですけど、この赤いところを取ってます。はい、で一応さばき終わりました。これがくちばしで、これが頭半分に割ったものですね。で、あと顎のカマのところ、お刺身になる上身の部分で、これがウグイス骨っていうところですね。ウグイスの形してるちょっと小さいですけど白子が入ってました。トウトウミと皮2種類ですね。で、あとヒレ、不可食部、猛毒の部分で食べれないところですね。特別に処理をしないといけないところですね。一番難しいのは魚の寝かせ方、締め方とか、そのあたりまだ今でも勉強中なんで、ここも唐揚げにして。これはね、身皮っていう部分ですね。ちょっと硬いですね、この部分ね。お刺身にするにはちょっと筋が、これはね、ちょっと加熱しないと食べれないところですね、この部分は。これで、これが上身です。これで水分調節しながら4日5日寝かせてきます。水分が抜けて適度な食べやすい柔らかさになって、旨味が増すっていうですね。4月21日 8日目のフグですね、これ。氷温につけてます。氷水の中に真空した状態。徳山のフグはもうこの沖のスゴナダ、フグとしては一番いい良質のフグだっていうことなんですけども、1週間寝かせた、天然のトラフグのお刺身です。おすすめはね、塩とわさびで熟成させた分、ポン酢よりも塩とわさびで食べる方が美味しいです。はい。三河原のと鍋がすごい。
次は来年2月。
这个女生让自己最好的朋友给男朋友打电话说晚安时，结果发生了让她万万没想到的一幕。
Hello。
听到男友的声音后，她立刻紧张起来。
What's up?
I was just calling to say goodnight.
当她再次拨打过去时，男友更是演都不演了，他的话直接让两人爆笑不止。
The freak you want?
Why did you hang up?
Bro.
Just wanted to tell you that I hope you have sweet dreams and sleep good.
I hope you fall off a bridge, bro. What the freak is that?
这个女生让自己最好的朋友给男朋友打电话说晚安时，结果发生了让她万万没想到的一幕。
Hello.
听到男友的声音后，她立刻紧张起来。
What's up?
I was just
当女人发现拦下她的警察竟是她的闺蜜时，有趣的对话发生了。
Good, how are you? I'm great. Do you have any idea why I stopped you today?
No. I was going to make a film. I'm recording you, by the way.
Oh, you're recording? Ma'am, I am too, just FYI, okay. You don't have a front license plate. Now, in this great state of Texas, you have to have 2 plates. One in the front, one in the rear, all right? Where your second plate is? Okay. Well, you really need to get that fixed.
Okay.
You have your driver's license on you. All right, I'll take that. No, you just hang tight. I'll be right back.
Thank you.
Hold on. All right, ma'am. Here's drive you back. So you will be seeing a citation today.
Are you serious?
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joshing with you, ma'am. I just love to joke sometimes. This is just awarded for no front plate, okay? Do you have any questions for me?
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you have a great day.
You do.
You be blessed.
You too.
That's right.
当女人发现拦下她的警察竟是她的闺蜜时，有趣的对话发生了。
Good, how are you? I'm great. Do you have any idea?
Attention, fais attention. Ben, tabarnak! On n'entend rien! Entends-tu?
20 years of online gaming, finally met in person.
I'm out here in Vegas, man. About to meet a buddy that I've been playing Xbox and video games with for 20 years.
Damn.
And I've never met him before in person. And he happens to be in Vegas. So we're pulling up on him, and I'm gonna meet this homie.
Guaranteed. Actually, not guaranteed. The probability that these guys met on Gears of War, what is it, 90 or 95%? What do y'all think? I feel like it's either that or Halo, right? Dude, this is awesome. I love seeing this. You know, I've met a number of my, you know, guys that I played games with for many years, and that I finally met them. It was very, very cool. 20 years of online gaming, finally met in person.
I'm out here in Vegas, man. About to meet a buddy that I've been playing Xbox and video games with for 20 years.
Damn.
And I've never met him before in person. And he happens to be in Vegas. So we're pulling up on him, and I'm gonna meet this homie.
Guaranteed. Actually, not guaranteed. The probability that these guys met on Gears of War, what is it, 90 or 95%? What do y'all think? I feel like it's either that or Halo, right? Dude.
你好，儿子哥，我是妈妈。
我知道你，妈妈姐吗？怎么了这是？
我想申请骂你两句那个业务。
行，身份证带没？
啊，带了，这里都备好了，身份证、证件都有。
户口本也带了哈。
啊。
行，给你登记。
哎。
姓名？
刘梅。
性别？
女。
骂谁？
骂你。
骂我的理由是？
晚上不睡觉，早上不起什么，一天饭也不吃，就玩手机，怎么说都不听啊。
那个没申请完就开骂了哈。
骂没控制住。
你忍啊！再一个，你骂我的理由有点多了，只能选一个。
选玩手机。
玩手机行
啊。
骂多长时间想啊？
半个小时。
半个点太长了，我这边的权限最多能给你开到一首歌的时间，4分25秒。
这咋还有这首呢？啥歌啊？
听妈妈的话嘛。
我怎么妈妈话多，时间短的不过瘾呐？
那我就是长时间，你爱骂不骂，反正你也别问那，我也是打工的，
你别，骂
骂就行啊。你骂到多少分贝？只有30、60、90分贝。
我现在特别生气，我能骂到90分贝。
那你这就属于扰民了，你这得有邻居同意许可签字，他们签了。
都签了啊，物业社区都有啊。
物业也签了是吧？
对，开骂了呗。
你先等一下啊，你那个上手我问一下子，比如说你是掐胳膊了、大腿里子什么，给来一下。
情绪到了，也许给2下子。
你要给2下子，就得有你父母同意签字了。我老婆姥爷他们签了吗？
啊，那问了，他俩不同意，那我就不上手，直接开骂呗。
行，我这边给你申请完了啊，然后你先回主播等通知，等15工作日以后，你就可以开骂了。
你好，儿子哥，
你别，
我能骂到9。
签了，是吧？
对，开骂了呗。
你先等一下啊，你那个上手我问一下子，比如说你是掐胳膊了、大腿里子什么，给来一下。
情绪到了，也许给2下子。
你要给2下子，就得有你父母同意签字了。我老婆姥爷他们签了吗？
啊，那问了，他俩不同意，那我就不上手，直接开骂呗。
行，我这边给你申请完了啊，然后你先回主播等通知，等15工作日以后，你就可以开骂了。
你好，儿子哥，我是妈妈。
我知道你，妈妈姐吗？怎么了这是？
我想申请骂你两句那个业务。
行，身份证带没？
啊，带了，这里都备好了，身份证、证件都有。
户口本也带了哈。
啊。
行，给你登记。
哎。
姓名？
刘梅。
性别？
女。
骂谁？
骂你。
骂我的理由是？
晚上不睡觉，早上不起什么，一天饭也不吃，就玩手机，怎么说都不听啊。
那个没申请完就开骂了哈。
骂没控制住。
你忍啊！再一个，你骂我的理由有点多了，只能选一个。
选玩手机。
玩手机行
啊。
骂多长时间想啊？
半个小时。
半个点太长了，我这边的权限最多能给你开到一首歌的时间，4分25秒。
这咋还有这首呢？啥歌啊？
听妈妈的话嘛。
我怎么妈妈话多，时间短的不过瘾呐？
那我就是长时间，你爱骂不骂，反正你也别问那，我也是打工的，
你别，
骂就行啊。你想骂到多少分贝？只有30、60、90分贝。
我现在特别生气，我能骂到90分贝。
那你这就属于扰民了，你这得有邻居同意许可签字，他们签了。
都签了啊，物业社区都有啊。
物业也签了是吧？
对，开骂了呗。
你先等一下啊，你那个上手我问一下子，比如说你是掐胳膊了、大腿里子什么，给来一下。
情绪到了，也许给2下子。
你要给2下子，就得有你父母同意签字了。我老婆姥爷他们签了吗？
啊，那问了，他俩不同意，那我就不上手，直接开骂呗。
行，我这边给你申请完了啊，然后你先回主播等通知，等15工作日以后，你就可以开骂了。
你好，儿子哥，我是妈妈。
我知道。
你们不觉得中文歌翻成日文都超好听吗？像这样，这旋律是不是很熟悉？它的中文是。看一下我们今天要把它做成什么风格？今天穿什么风格呢？咪咪，哇，这应该是我最喜欢的风格之一。它的钢琴是最厉害的，我们来试试看。我们加一下吉他跟鼓。最后把它们全部组合起来，一起来听看日系版的《我会等》。 待ってる思い出を洗い流せ君と見たいあの広い世界へ
愛を一つまたねまたね夜に咲く温度と灯るまで
呼吸一つ生きる生きる優しい日々の横で中のように中のように。听说小林他是第一次唱日文歌，我直接吓到怎么可能唱那么好？你觉得日文版有没有比较好听呢？在底下留言告诉我。你们不觉得中文歌翻成日文都超好听吗？像这样。
Yo.
Yo, what's up, dude?
Bro, I have a question.
Yeah, hit it. What the fuck, dude?
Sorry, my camera first. Camera first. Camera first. Camera first. Camera first. Camera first. Camera first.
Yeah. What the heck is up, dude? That was really weird when you just stared at me when you said you had a question. Do you remember that? That just happened. It was kind of...
Like, I'm sorry. Like, I thought it was, like, funny. Like...
It's okay. No, it was kind of funny. Just stare at me. Let's just stare at each other. You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the part where you have a question, and then you like really just like it was you know really like you were in your bag there. Like that was deep.
It was inspired by you, honestly.
Okay. Dude, did you do the artwork on the wall?
No, my friend did.
Oh.
His name is Jesse J Art. He's really good.
It's nice.
Thank you.
Cool thing going on here. Yeah.
You were cooler with your little question joke. I thought it was good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was good.
Wait.
Okay, I'm sorry. I love you.
Yo,
what's up, dude?
Bro, I have a question.
Yeah, hit it.
Whoa!
show